Yeah, so I'm originally from Connecticut. So I started my shop up there, and then I went down, and I originally went down to basically work for the shop Houston, and ended up about 2 years in, had an opportunity to buy into it, so now I'm a partial owner. So
Okay, so that shop was mostly GTRs or Supras, GTRs, kind of JDM stuff?
It was pretty much all GTRs before I got there. They did some Subaru stuff too. And now
Cut
we
that
do. No, dude, I've said this before.
Believe it or not, it's a great market.
Subarus make money
because you'll never stop working.
No, yeah, it's
Those
great job
customers are
security. You know,
That's what the Dodge techs tell me.
They blow up from the factory, so people, if it blows up after you build it, they're like, well, you know, that happened 3 times when it was stock. So
that's true. Everybody else expects their cars never to blow up.
Yeah, Subaru owners buy them knowing
what I know now. Instead of Supras, it would be Subarus. We'd be twice as busy.
I've said that.
And there's so many of them.
Yeah.
We don't realize it because we're not like in it.
Yeah.
There's so many of them.
And most people don't want to work on them because they know that
they suck.
Kind of a bad reputation because it's like, oh, his cars always blow up. But it's like, that's kind of the...
When you just do like basic work to them, they kind of suck to work on.
Yeah.
You know, like with the way the motor's designed and stuff like that, it takes a little while to change. You know, it's much more difficult to change plugs and stuff like that. But like you said, there's so many more of them, even so many more than Evos, you know, because WRXs and STIs have the same motors, and like parts are so available. They didn't quadruple in price like GTR stuff when COVID hit, you know? So like
the numbers have to be like insane of how many of Subarus are built a year.
Yeah.
And
then the price point
died anyways. Like
it's not even a thing.
Nobody even exists anymore.
Yeah.
I see them every once in a while. I'm like, wow. Remember those?
It's a classic.
But they're pretty cool. But then they're just gone.
They were good because I was an Evo guy for a long time. I still am an Evo guy, but like they were a good daily because they were still an Evo, but had a little bit more technology,
especially in the Northeast,
stuff like that.
Because you can drive them all year round.
Yep.
Good on gas. Yeah. This guy's been an Evo guy, a GTR guy, a Supra guy.
I'm still all those things.
A Lambo guy.
Just low-key, still all of them. Because like when I think of you, I think of Kimbo. That was my first introduction to you was Kimbo, the desert tan, carbon doors.
Baby puke.
R35 with, you know, solid axle now, but it's gone through so many iterations.
It's been through a lot of stages, it's desert camo. Because I'm a fucking American.
I mean, the hat
desert camo
looks like mixed baby throw up with some baby poop.
I don't know because I'm not. I'm not on your guys' level yet with the babies.
There's not that much need for a desert camo actually in America though.
Yeah, that's actually not very American.
There's actually not that much of a need.
Green camo would be a little bit.
I've had nobody likes how American I am for how import I also am. I've had people throw shit at my car at Yellow Bullet. I was the only import on the property.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
People don't like it that much.
I did not think that would, I didn't think you'd cause such a division in the...
We both have the same issue. We're smart enough to know that domestics are better at drag racing in most cases, and V8s are better at handling a lot of horsepower in most cases.
Yeah.
But we just still love doing dumb shit. We just love it. We can't help it.
That feels like you were talking to me a little bit there.
No, I mean...
I feel that a little bit.
I think everybody knows that I'm like a huge 2J guy. Like I love 2Js. I live and breathe 2Js. I've spent way too much money trying to go fast with 2Js. But I know in my heart that my life would be a lot easier if I didn't love 2Js. And to go as fast... Like, our Supra, the shop Supra, we've been like 4.0 in the 8th, it's been 630s. With a V8, it would do that on like cruise control.
Yeah.
And we would like never work on it.
All you have to do is adjust the valves.
Yeah, like we would like never work on it. And then if we wanted to turn it up, we could go faster.
Well, you know, what you did with your car was always very interesting to me because it's still a heavy chassis.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like the motor and everything makes great power. I've always liked those motors, but to leave it in that chassis was an interesting move because it's still, you can't take the weight out of it.
Yeah, but I think there's like an emotional attachment probably.
I mean, that is what got me, like I say this all the time, like that car got me to where I am, whether it's in literally any opportunity, because every way you look at it, like even meeting Victor, I met him because I scammed him for a transmission one time.
True story.
I bought a stage 5 off. I bought a stage 5 from him, And I was broke. I didn't have the money for it. I was trying to build the car to build the name for my shop. And
I had already realized that GTR sucked.
He unknowingly financed it for me.
Yeah, I was parting out a GTR because I was like, man, these things really suck.
Yeah.
And like racing these things sucks even worse because you'll spend $50,000 on a transmission and like it could break on the first pass or the 10th pass, but when it breaks, it just breaks. You got to just start over. So we were parting one out, and this guy, I'll take that transmission,
and he's like, yo, I didn't agree to take $3,500 a week for the rest of my life for this. So I
on a transmission is crazy because that gets you like the peak power glide, like $3,500 is like all in on the power.
I'm in my M&M with the converter,
a lockup,
with
reed case,
everything,
dump valves, the whole nine,
for far less than the trans that I sold out of the car.
He could buy like 2 or 3, so he has spares, and it would cost what is GTR?
A spare that I would never need.
That you would never touch.
Like he touched on before, the most frustrating part about drag racing that car before was I really do love racing, but at the same time, you're just dumb enough to where you love what you love, and I know we talked pro mods. He's building a pro mod. And I know the same thing. Like, it would be so much easier for me to build a big block car.
You can't cut a light in a GTR.
And all that stuff. So, but still to this day now, I'm like, man, I really want to build a pro import car with a VR in it. Like just to do it, to satisfy yourself. But
those are called intrusive thoughts. You need to fight them.
But drag racing the car before, like he touched on earlier, the thing that I used to hate was going to Maryland. It's my favorite race of the year. And you're dragging the car 30 hours from Texas, and you don't know if your trans that costs more than most people's car at the chassis at the event is going to make it 1 pass or 100. And you can't cut a light.
I know it's not going to cut 100.
Well, I mean, I'm knocking on
make like 8.
I'm knocking on wood, and I don't have it anymore, so I don't really have to knock on wood. But my GR6 never broke. I couldn't afford to rebuild it a bunch of times. So every time I had downtime, I sent it in just to get checked and stuff like that. But I've only ever actually broke 2 axles. And then the minute I broke 1 gear was the time I switched to the Turbo 400. I was like, fuck this, I'm done. Because it was at Maryland, and it was the exact scenario that I was afraid of. I had tried
so hard for so long to get him to get a Turbo 400. It's honestly like the biggest proud dad moment of my life is convincing him to put a Turbo 400 on that car. And that car got like... I thought the car was cool before, but to me, it's like the coolest GTR now.
I would agree, but the problem is like with a GTR, it's not just like, oh yeah, put a Turbo 400
No.
It's not like every other car in the world.
Yeah, it's
like,
not that
if
that
you have a
simple.
Supra and somebody's like, put a Turbo 400 in
I mean, it's cool because it's, like he can race it in anywhere now, right? It fits like X275 rules. It fits Extreme 28s at FL2K. It fits probably X275 at World Cup or Warriors.
Extra hot rod.
Yeah, like
racing in Warriors.
He can race it wherever he wants. He can bump in and leave on a trans brake and actually cut a light. He doesn't have to worry about the transmission now, just the engine. And like, it's just such a cool car now. It's so much easier to work on.
Oh yeah,
it's like everything about it just got really cool when he did.
I've always really enjoyed that car too. I mean, it's famous for the Hoonigan stuff as well, racing the Hoonicorn, and that was a cool one. That was Leah driving the Hoonicorn in that.
That guy that car. You've done a lot of stuff in that car. You've done
That's
prep
what I'm saying.
stuff.
The car has got me to where I am for sure. It's been through a lot of different stages.
That's the same car that had the stock turbos that was really fast too, right?
Yep.
Yeah, like wasn't
stock
like,
manifolds? Yeah, we had 770s.
No, but didn't you go really fast with stock turbos too? In the beginning.
Dan second.
Oh yeah. Okay.
We put a built motor, stock turbos. I think we put on M1, and my car had already broke, so we put my car shot a turbo out of it. This was at FL2K.
Yeah.
So we put my stage 5 trans in his car and just shifted it wide open. No torque reduction or anything. It was chirping all the way down the track like it had a shift kit in it.
Those things just eat turbos out of them, no matter what it is, it seems like. Because I remember Giddy's car used to do that. Like every now and then, like you just see like the wheel come out the exhaust, and it's like, what is it about those?
And I think too that, and this is not a knock on anything, but I think there was a period of time where most of those guys ran Garrett turbos, and Garrett turbos are great, but like they were just overspinning the hell out of them to get the results that they did. But like there was a time like all the AMS stuff was based around Garrett turbos. I think Boost Logic at some point used a lot of Garrett stuff.
They did on the 1300X is a 3582. That's like the best turbo kit ever.
Yeah.
It's a turbo.
But people just overspin the hell out of them and break them. And it's not easy to change the turbo on that car. So if you want some more power, it's easier to just keep turning it up and break it than it is to change the turbo. You have to pull the engine to change the turbos on the car.
Yeah, it's always a funny thing with the GTRs. You go to like TX2K, and if you see your ladder and it's like, oh, I got a GTR first round.
Oh, yeah.
It went 3/10 faster than me, but like,
yeah, that's a celebration.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not going to leave the starting line.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might not. It might not make it too. Like,
80% chance.
show up.
There's an 80% chance it doesn't show up. There's a 70% chance it breaks. A 50%, no, a 100% chance you leave before them. They can't cut a good line.
That's what I'm saying by not leaving the starting line. So like, it won't really matter as long as you cut an under 100 light. You'll be all right.
Yeah, you'll be out on them.
Yeah.
And
If you're on
then
a
you'll
pro
see
tree,
it kind of do this.
But let's
If
be
you're on a pro
clear.
tree, it's cake.
Yeah, but let's be clear. They're awesome street cars. But that's the issue is like, people like us that we want to always go further and further and further, and we take it too far, right? And we try to, or not me, I got out of it quick because I just couldn't stand it, but try to make a car that you drag race out of the street car because everybody wants to say it's a street car. Like that's like, I think besides racing pro mod, the biggest thing in drag racing is saying that your race car is a street car. That's like everybody wants to do that. So you take that car and it's a street car and you can go sevens with it and it's cool, but it sucks at like competitive drag racing. It absolutely sucks.
I think the market has phased them out a little bit because the V10 platform.
Yeah, well, and it's like seems like a lot of the same owners have left the GTR stuff and gotten V10 stuff.
Because it's like the GTR stuff is cool, but man, those V10s are hard to break. Like from the outside looking in, they seem hard to break.
There's guys making like 1,500 plus on stock engines, right?
We've made 1,800 on a stock motor, stock
On a
long
stock.
block, sealed up.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Like right from Audi or
Yeah.
And I mean, that alone makes it probably more reliable than a GTR.
But I mean, if you compare them, right? Like what those make on a stock motor is comparable with the 10-cylinder versus what the V6 does. If you look at like, horsepower per hole and stuff like that, it ends up being really comparable. But it's on a whole different level, and I think that's part of the problem with the V10 platform.
It's a 5.2 liter. We're talking a 3.8 liter.
Yeah.
So like power per liter is probably close. But how
But
much
like still entry level, the problem I see, well, it's been much better the last 2 years. But when the V10 platforms first started to take off, like the big issue was entry level was like 1,400.
Yeah.
And like that's a lot for people. So I know.
Yeah, you very rarely
saw,
hear about like an 800 horsepower twin turbo Audi anymore or Lambo. Like that's not like a thing.
Well, it's an on and off switch. It's like stock to 1,400 horsepower.
But it's also when
There's
it's
no
so
progression.
easy to make the power, how do you control yourself not to?
Yeah.
Like these guys will do a turbo kit. Some of them do it on stock ECU with M Engineering. Some of them do it on Motec, but either a turbo kit and like a second gear and a clutch. And some of them don't even touch the transmissions, and they have like a mid to low 8-second car. That you can drive anywhere, like legitimately get in.
Like we'll do that.
My first RA made like 1,200 on a stock clutch, stock trans, stock everything. We just turned it up until the clutch.
But it also sucks a lot worse when you break your R8 or Lambo compared to your GTR.
Really? Talking as much as a GTR costs to fix, it's still worse to break your...
it's the same thing. Just like I said, like they're kind of comparable. You're spending X amount more for the car, and you're spending X amount more for the parts. So like a $35,000 tranny for a GTR is going to get you the works. I have a trans that came out of my Huracan that the invoice was $74,000 to build it.
To build it.
Just to build it.
Yeah.
That to me is
Not
like,
including
if you break a stock GTR motor, you can get one for like 10 grand.
You used to be able to get them for 10 grand. I used to be able to buy blocks for $2,000. Now they're $7,000 dealer cost.
Jesus. Well, what's a Lambo motor? What, like 25, 30 if it's just a stock
40
motor?
grand
40?
on eBay, 35 grand, 30 depending on the mileage.
See, that's just not fun to me.
no.
Yeah.
That's
Like you blow one motor and you're just done. Like that's it. You either have to like keep the car for the rest of your life.
Get a second mortgage on your house.
Yeah, I know. That just sounds.
Yeah, I mean, there's
terrible.
people that are making payments on cars that sit in shops right now.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
Guys, thank you for tuning in to the Bogetti Clips YouTube channel. For the full podcast, check us out on Bogetti Studios YouTube and all your audio platforms. Also, hit that subscribe button to not miss out on any of the new Bogetti clips coming up.